Sometimes the poorest hearts carry the richest values. One cold evening, a wealthy man lost something priceless without even noticing. Nearby, a hungry homeless boy watched it fall to the ground. His stomach was empty, his clothes were torn, and no one cared he existed. But what he chose to do next changed both of their lives forever. 12-year-old Liam sat on the cold pavement beside an old convenience store. The streetlights flickered above his head, casting shadows on the cracked sidewalk. His hair was unkempt, his shoes had holes, and his thin jacket did little to keep the evening chill away. Most people passed him like he was made of air. Some turned their faces away, others crossed to the other side of the road. He had learned to stop expecting kindness. Liam wasn't always homeless. Just 2 years ago, he lived with his mother in a small apartment. She worked 2 jobs, always smiling despite her exhaustion. But when she fell severely ill, everything collapsed. There was no money for treatment, and the bills piled up. Liam remembered holding her hand in the hospital, promising he'd help her somehow. But within weeks, she was gone. With no relatives willing to take him in, he found himself on the streets. Nights were the hardest. He'd curl up behind the bakery at the corner, where the warm scent of bread teased his hunger. Some nights he went to sleep without a single bite of food. His only belongings were a frayed backpack, an old photo of his mother, and a blanket he'd found in a dumpster. He kept the photo close to his chest every night, whispering, "I'll make you proud, Mama." People treated him like nothing more than a problem. Once, he asked a shopkeeper for leftover bread, and the man yelled at him to go away and stop begging. Another time, a group of teenagers threw a soda can at him and laughed when he stumbled. Liam didn't fight back. He had learned that silence protected him more than anger ever could. One afternoon, he ventured near a park, hoping someone might offer a small coin or sandwich. He sat on a bench, watching parents push their kids on swings and couples take walks with coffees in hand. He imagined himself in clean clothes, going to school, maybe even having friends, but every time he let himself hope, the reality of his life weighed him back down. As evening rolled in, Liam's stomach rumbled painfully. He hadn't eaten since the previous morning. He wandered to the main street, where shop windows glowed and cars honked in traffic. He sat near the curb with his knees tucked into his chest, trying to stay warm. He thought of his mother's gentle voice telling him, "No matter how hard it gets, don't lose your goodness." Those words became his shield against the darkness. Few people noticed him, and those who did only looked away. But inside Liam's heart lived an unbroken light, a belief that being kind cost nothing, even when you had nothing. He didn't know that tonight, fate was about to test that belief in the most powerful way. That night, a shiny black car pulled up in front of a fancy restaurant across the street from where Liam sat. The door opened, and a man in a dark gray suit stepped out. His name was Mr. Parker, a wealthy businessman known for his expensive taste and polished life. He checked his gold watch, adjusted his coat, and strode toward the entrance. As Mr. Parker closed the car door behind him, something slipped from his pocket, a thick leather wallet. It landed on the sidewalk with a soft thud, but the man didn't notice. He was already inside the restaurant, greeted by waiters who bowed at his arrival. Liam watched it fall. At first, he blinked in disbelief, wondering if anyone else saw it. He looked around. People walked past, too busy to notice. Cars drove by, spraying cold air as they passed. Liam's heart pounded in his chest as he slowly stood up. Carefully, he stepped toward the wallet, each movement hesitant, like he was afraid someone might yell at him. He picked it up. It was heavy and smelled of fine leather. His fingers trembled when he opened it just a little. Inside were several crisp bills, shiny cards, and a folded check with a large number written on it. His empty stomach twisted. His hands felt weak. For a moment, thoughts rushed through his mind. I could buy food, maybe a blanket, maybe shoes. I could survive for weeks. He looked again at the restaurant's glowing entrance. The man who owned the wallet probably had more money in one day than Liam had seen in his entire life. Was it fair? Would anyone even care if he kept it? The cold wind whipped at his face, reminding him of the ache in his bones. Then a memory surfaced. He saw his mother's face in his mind, her tired smile, her soft voice. She used to tell him, even when life is cruel to you, don't let it make you cruel too. Tears welled in his eyes. He closed the wallet gently and held it against his chest. As he stood there, a group of teenagers across the street noticed him. They laughed among themselves, and one of them shouted, "Hey, that kid's stealing something." People nearby turned their heads. A woman frowned and shook her head. Someone muttered, "These street kids always find a way to take what isn't theirs." Liam froze. His throat tightened. He wanted to shout, "I'm not stealing. I'm trying to help." But his voice stayed trapped. A passerby gave him a disgusted look, and another whispered to her friend, probably going to spend it on something bad. The judgment pierced deeper than hunger ever had. Liam hugged the wallet tighter, not out of selfishness, but out of fear someone might take it and never return it to its owner. He stepped back into the shadow of a lamppost, trying to disappear. Inside the restaurant, waiters poured wine and served hot meals. Mr. Parker laughed with his colleagues, unaware that his entire identity, cards, money, and personal document, lay in the hands of a boy the world treated like he didn't matter. And outside, under the cold night sky, Liam stood alone, faced with a choice that would define him. Liam waited near the entrance, shivering as the night grew colder. He didn't dare walk inside the restaurant. He knew he'd be thrown out immediately. So he stood near the steps, clutching the wallet with both hands. Minutes turned to an hour. His legs felt numb, and his teeth chattered uncontrollably. Finally, the doors opened and Mr. Parker stepped outside, laughing as he said goodbye to his colleagues. He reached for his coat pocket, then froze. His hand patted his suit, his expression turning from calm to panic. He checked every pocket, searched his car, and his face went pale. Just then, Liam stepped forward slowly, his voice soft and unsure. "Excuse me, sir. Are you looking for this?" Mr. Parker turned sharply, eyes wide. When he saw the wallet in the boy's hands, relief flooded his face. He rushed over and took it gently. Yes, this is mine. Where did you find it?" Liam kept his eyes low. "You dropped it when you came in. I didn't want someone else to take it." Mr. Parker stared at him, surprised. He opened the wallet and checked. Everything was there, not a single bill missing, shock mixed with admiration in his expression. He looked at the boy's thin clothes, the holes in his shoes, the dirt on his hands. "You could have taken the money," he said quietly, almost to himself. Liam shrugged faintly. "It wasn't mine," he whispered. Before Mr. Parker could speak again, the same teenagers who had yelled earlier passed by. One of them pointed and said loudly, "That's the thief kid." Mr. Parker frowned sharply at them. "He's not a thief," he said firmly. "He just returned something most people wouldn't." The teenagers went silent and walked away. Mr. Parker turned back to Liam. "What's your name?" "Liam," he whispered, hugging his old backpack. "Do you have somewhere to go tonight?" Liam shook his head. He didn't lie. He didn't make excuses. He just stood there quietly, waiting to be dismissed. But instead, Mr. Parker did something no one had done in a long time. He knelt to the boy's eye level. "Thank you for your honesty," he said gently. "You saved me from a lot of trouble. Let me help you." Liam blinked in confusion. "It's okay. I don't need anything," he said reflexively, even though every bone in his body ached with need. Mr. Parker smiled softly. "Well, I'd like to get you a meal at least. Would that be all right?" For a moment, Liam hesitated, unsure if it was a trick. But something in the man's eyes felt genuine. He nodded slightly. They went inside the restaurant. Not through the back door, not with sneers or whispers, but through the front. A waiter looked startled, but Mr. Parker spoke clearly. "He's my guest." They sat at a table by the window. Liam ate slowly at first, almost afraid the food would be taken away. Mr. Parker watched quietly, realizing this boy had been failed by everyone who walked past him. As they talked, Mr. Parker learned about his mother, the streets, and the nights Liam spent alone. The rich man's heart softened in a way he didn't expect. Before the night ended, he made a phone call. Within days, Liam had a warm bed in a safe shelter, new clothes, and the promise of school enrollment. Mr. Parker became more than a helper. He became someone who cared, someone who saw him, and all of it began because a hungry, homeless boy chose honesty over desperation. Kindness isn't about what you have, it's about who you are. One honest choice can open doors no money ever could. Compassion can be hidden in the most forgotten hearts. Sometimes the smallest act reveals the biggest humanity, and when kindness is returned, lives change forever.